The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I am Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 212.
212.
What is the topic today?
This is the Tower moment.
Why?
I know. I just said to you, and you thought I wanted to change the title to F the Tower. F the Tower. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. This will be a good one, I think.
Yeah. Okay, but before we get into it, did you want to talk about anything from last week?
Yeah, last week we played the interview that I did on Haunting Live, and I hope that everybody enjoyed that. I forgot to mention that there was another interview that I did that came out around the same time. I do these interviews, and sometimes it takes months for them to be published, and then it's like they get released at the same time. So,
yes.
But there was another interview that's on the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast with Barbara Savin. It's number 78, and it's about animal communication. And I just love Barbara. She has such a beautiful energy. She almost had me crying just with her intro. Like, she starts talking about manifestation and loving yourself and all this stuff. And by the time that she got to me, I was like, no, close. But yeah, have a listen to that interview. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites that I've done so far. So, and then I wanted to make a very exciting announcement. I have been offered I've been offered my own television show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Internet television, so it'll be streaming. So if you have a smart TV or they were telling me like Twitter Live, there's a bunch of places. There's so many places. I have no details right now for you. When it's going to start, what the name is, I have nothing. They just came to me this week and said, hey, we'd like to have you on one of our shows for the network. And then a few days later came back and said, we've decided we'd like to give you your own show, too. Yeah. So, yeah.
Bizarre.
It was just so
cool,
weird.
Though.
So
Congratulations.
Cool.
That's so awesome. You really have worked hard, and you deserve that.
Thank you. I've tried. I let the universe be my guide, and I just do what it tells me to do. And most of the time, I don't want to do what it tells me to do.
I know.
But I just do it because this is where it gets you.
Yeah.
You know, I have mentioned many times that camera work scares me. So this is a new journey for me.
Yeah.
This is starting something that's scary to me, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what's happened this last week. And then every week we answer 2 questions. The first question is from Carrie. She says, from what I understand, your soul can be in multiple places at once, and a part always stays behind. Does this mean these pieces have a soul contract and therefore could live a longer, shorter life than another part? That's a great question.
Yeah, I kind of missed it. Can you?
Okay, yeah, because I think that there was a couple of mistypes here. So, okay, let me read it again. From what I understand, your soul can be in multiple places at once, and a part always stays there, is what she meant to say, I think. Does each of these pieces have a soul contract and therefore could live a longer or shorter life than the other parts? So, your soul splits, a piece stays in heaven, but a piece, is here if you're here.
Right.
Or
well, technically, longer or shorter, the soul never dies.
Yeah.
So really, you're only looking at your mortality, your physical life. And I think, in some way you are, you're kind of guiding yourself from the other side.
Yeah.
Subconsciously. You're working with yourself here.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Here
your
in the
higher self,
3D, and there,
Right.
from there. But the dying part, that part, I don't really know. I don't know if I understand that too much.
Sure. Okay, let me. Maybe it'll make more sense if I answer the way that I'm feeling about this. So, when I think of your soul being in multiple places at once, I don't really look at this when you're in human form. When you're in human form, to me, it feels like your higher self is there in heaven, which is a piece of you. And yes, it always stays there. But the rest of you is right here in this body. Now, if you want to get complicated about this, we could get into multiple universes where they say that you know, there's a version of you in each universe and blah, blah, blah. Is that a piece of your soul? I don't know, and I'm not educated enough on that to even go there.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
But I don't think that our soul splits into like multiple people here on Earth, if that's what you're meaning. So I don't think that there is a dying, like what Danny was saying. He was kind of confused about it because it doesn't die. Your soul doesn't die.
Yeah, there's death here, but your soul, which we will all soon find out, is still alive and well.
Yeah.
Even when your body stops working. So the multiverse, like universe thing, is an interesting theory or thought and theory, because I could see where maybe you're not necessarily, so like for every decision you don't choose in life, there's an alternate path.
Right.
There's an alternate story. And is that you breaking off into a million trillion different choices? I don't really know that. I kind of tend to believe that gives opportunities because there are so many souls. I don't even know if it's what kind of number, but I just have a feeling it is an immense
number we can't even fathom. Yeah.
And I've heard stories where people have claimed to have been famous people in history.
Right.
And then you start to wonder, well, how's that? If that person was that person, then how are you that person? And then I think of that in terms of the multi-universe and thinking, well, maybe that then provides pathways or lessons, just short kind of imprints where you jump into something and you don't stay there, you leave, but you just there for that lesson.
Yeah, right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense to me. Something else that I wanted to bring up in this is that she had mentioned the pieces did their own soul contracts. So you're one soul. So no, I don't believe that those pieces that are up there doing different things in heaven have their own soul contracts. I think this maybe gets confusing, but like, let's say, you know, you die, right? And you go to heaven and you want to be with your son and you want to be with your daughter and you want to be with your brother but you also want to be at Disneyland in Paris, you know, because that's the first place I'm going.
Oh, Paris?
Yeah. You can be in all those places at once. It's still you. I think that the way I feel about this is that they're all connected to the main part of your soul, which is your higher self, which is there. So when those things like split off, the main part of you, your higher self, always knows what's going on. It's always, you know, everybody, all those parts of your soul, those pieces, they work together. But here, I don't believe that that's what's going on. Once you reincarnate, I don't believe that there's like different pieces of your soul in different bodies. Twin flames, they say, is your soul broken into two pieces. Okay, that's possible, yes. But a bunch of different pieces here living different lives, I don't think that's what's happening.
That's a gnarly question.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess
there's so many ways to answer that.
It's all your perspective or how you believe.
Yes.
But yeah, I really hadn't thought of it in terms of like that.
Yeah.
Especially the death part and where if you're spread out.
Yeah. But that's just, you know, my opinion on it, what I get from what I'm told. So, you know, I could be a little wrong, but that's my take on it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Carrie, for that.
Thanks, Carrie.
And then the next question is from Kelsey. And Kelsey and she actually reached out this morning. And we were talking about, because she says she feels like she's going crazy because there are so many synchronicities around her and she doesn't know what they mean. And I will tell you that I get asked this question multiple times a week. And so that's why I thought, you know what, I just want to talk about this a little bit as far as this goes. We have done episodes on the podcast as well as I've done them on my radio show that are extensive about learning to communicate with the universe. When the universe shows you these numbers, whether it's like 1111, 222, 333, whatever it is, it's trying to get your attention, first and foremost, trying to get your attention. But I really believe that those numbers, those specific like numbers like 222, 333, I don't believe that you can actually just look those numbers up on the internet and go with what anybody says on the internet as that's what those numbers mean.
Right.
Because you can look at 10 different sites and they will tell you 10 different things. Because that's what Kelsey was saying, is that she's like, I've been searching, on the internet. What do these mean? So what I prefer to do is, if you see those numbers repeatedly, set them for something. Mm-hmm. You pick what you want to set them for. So I had told you guys that the number 17, I figured out that that's my step aunt, Janet. So what I've done, not just with 17s, but she's now 711 and 717, because I see those all the time. So anytime that I see those two things, I know it's her. Mm-hmm. So let's say that you, like Kelsey, she has a friend that committed suicide, and who actually in their suicide note said, if this is real, if there is a universe, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to give you these signs. And it's happening. Yeah.
That's an incredible story. Yeah.
So what I would do is, for her, is, set some of these numbers that she's seeing constantly to be for her friend. Yeah. Whatever she, thinks that they need to be set for. Mm-hmm. It's so personal for everybody. You see your own numbers. You see different numbers than I see. So you just have to set those,
Yeah, honestly, I don't set a lot of them. I just know I see them constantly. Yeah. And I see them every hour of the day. And I just look at that as they're just letting me know we're here.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I do have certain numbers, though, that do represent, like, because I'll see the triplets, like, say, 333.
Yeah.
But, like, for 311, that's for Marina.
Right. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean, is like 413, that's Linda. I know that's Linda. So, yeah, you can set those things. But, like, let's just take something like 333, for example. If you see that all the time, if there's something going on in your life, think about it. Sit with it for a little while and think, what are they maybe trying to tell me? They're never going to be sending you these signs to tell you something like the end of the world is coming, because that's what a lot of people think. They run to me and they're like, and not just do I feel like I'm going crazy, but I feel like there's this impending sense of doom because I'm seeing these all the time. No, if you're on the right track, and you'll see more of those if you're on the right track.
Right.
When you're on the wrong track, when you're depressed, you might see less because you're not noticing them as much and your vibration is lower. But they won't send you those things to like tell you, the world's coming to an end. So whatever the thing is that you're worried about, just listen to them and work with them, and listen back to those episodes. I think on both the podcast and the radio show, it's learning to communicate with the universe, and it breaks it down a lot of how to do this. Yeah. So, because it can be done. I'm still learning, and I've been doing it a long time. Yeah, almost 20 years. Yeah. So, okay, thank you, Kelsey, for that. Kelsey. I enjoyed our conversation as well. All right, and then I do a reading every week. So this is for Sarah. She says, this is my father who passed on May 30th. So it's a really recent passing. Does he forgive me for my part in our rocky relationship? And has he reunited with his family, even those he despised in life? First of all, I'm really sorry for your loss.
Yeah, that's soon. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get Dad's name, so we'll just call him Dad.
He's a jokester.
Yeah, he is. Let me connect to him. Okay, so the first thing that he says to me is, the question isn't so much of if he forgives you, but do you forgive him? Because in the grand scheme of things, he was the parent, and he should have been the one to try and fix the things, not you, because he's the one that caused some of the damage that caused the problems. Mm-hmm. So he didn't stand up and take responsibility for his actions when he was alive. And so he's sorry for that. And he hopes that you'll forgive him, not just for that, but for everything that in your heart you would like forgiveness for. Because, I could sit here for hours and tell you the things that are going through his head, the specific instances. But he would like you to take this apology as a blanket apology for everything that he needs to apologize for, and know that he knows what he's done. He sees it. He sees everything there. He sees all the mistakes that he made. He also sees the good things that he made, because he sees a lot of him in you. You have his sense of humor. You have his ability to let things go and not hold on to grudges for long periods of time, or think about things like that. There's so many different things that he sees in you that he's proud of, and things that remind him of himself in you. Let's see. So he's talking about, you had some questions, but first I need to talk about what he wants to talk about. He says there's going to be some changes coming up in your near future, very good, positive changes that are going to feel a lot like what we're going to be talking about today in the tower moment. And this is so interesting. I love it when this happens. Like, I picked this one out of the readings, and I felt like there was a reason why I needed to do this. And he's telling me because this tower moment is coming for you. And that sounds scary, but on the other side of this tower moment is a deeper understanding of yourself. It's a different opportunity that's going to be coming your way. So what he's saying is don't be scared. He wants to move your life forward in ways that it couldn't be moved forward because he wasn't there. But now he's there, and so he's going to help you with these things in your life. But before he can help to give you what you want in your life, he has to deconstruct it a little bit. So that's what's going to happen. So whatever is coming, it's going to be all good. You know, you just got to get through what we're going to talk about today. And but he said, don't be scared, because he's going to be there right with you every step of the way. And this is going to line you up for everything that you are hoping that your future is going to bring. Wow. So, and he says, yes, he has reunited with all of his loved ones. There's no animosity there. So literally, like, he got there and it was like nothing. There's no, oh, I'm so sorry for what I did to you. It's just an understanding of I was a human and humans make mistakes. So yeah, he's with them and happy. So,
that's cool.
Yay.
What a profound statement for him to say, too, that, you know, it isn't about her, him forgiving her, excuse me. It's about her forgiving him.
Yes. My mom said similar to me when I talked to her the first time. It was similar. It was like, it doesn't matter what you did. Yeah.
It always starts with the elder.
Yep.
Because the child learns from the elder. So,
yep.
And not to say that children don't make mistakes and, you know, maybe say messed up things to their parents, but
they're kids.
They've learned a certain way, and probably most of it is from their parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I hope that you enjoyed that reading, Sarah, and if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. And then before we start, let's give our info.
Do it.
So you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. My radio show Beyond the Bridge airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Voice America. This week coming up, I'm doing the Daddy Issues episode, which should be lots of fun. So join me for that.
Cool.
And then you, sir.
Yes, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Yay.
All right. Episode 212, The Tower Moment. Dun, 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 dun.
You read my mind. That was exactly what I was going to do. Dun, 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 dun. So,
Cue the organ.
Yeah. I explain a lot of times how these episodes come to me. And the way that this episode came to me is because we are both literally in a tower moment.
Yeah.
But we're on the tail end of it.
Yeah, we're on the end of it. Yeah,
we're on the tail end of it. But it's been rough.
Yes.
And at the very beginning, I heard this term, the tower moment. This is your tower moment. And I hadn't heard that before. This is not the first time this has happened to me, what's going on right now. But this is the first time I've heard this is your tower moment. And a couple of days later, I pulled cards for myself, and the tower came up along with judgment, which is basically talking about the tower moment. It said it right there when I looked it up online, because I was like, there's a deeper meaning to this. I need to look it up. And it said that you're going through your tower moment. So that's why I felt like doing this episode, because we are in it. And I feel like when we're going through something, it's easier to talk about than after the fact, you know, when you forget about when you were in it and those deep emotions and stuff. But let's talk first about what is it? What is this tower moment? So in the spiritual world, these experiences called tower moments are a term that is associated with the tarot card, the Tower. And in the tarot deck, this is really the most feared card.
Yeah, even more so than Satan or death. I mean, the devil or death.
Yeah, because they don't mean what people think they mean.
Right.
But the Tower, I have two decks that I use most, and this is an interesting story. I have one that I love, the Light Seers Tarot, that I lost the Tower card. I didn't throw it away. It literally went missing. I was like, oh, that's okay, because I don't like that card anyway.
It's okay.
One day I just realized it wasn't
counting?
there. I was like, I never see the Tower. How come I never see the Tower? So I went through the whole deck, and I was like, it's not here, is it? And then I used the Rider-Waite deck, which does have the Tower in it. about 3 weeks ago, I felt the pull to switch from using the light Sears Tarot to the Rider-Waite that had the tower in it. And that's when the tower was coming out every day. There it is, one after the other, with constant different messages. The tower is, if you've never seen the tarot card, the tower, it's basically a tower with people falling out of it. It's being struck by lightning. It's on fire. It's falling apart. Yeah. It's on our promo for this week. So if you haven't seen it, go to one of the pages on Facebook and you'll see the promo in it. And there's a tarot card, or you can Google it. But either way, it's scary. And when it comes up in a reading, the first thing I do is go, ew. Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's a reading for myself or somebody else. It's often seen as a sign that something unexpected or difficult is approaching. Yeah. It can also be a sign that it's time to let go of old ways of thinking because your current position of belief system is not viable anymore. One of the examples that I have about when the tower was coming up a lot was Danny's band. Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So they were getting ready to play a show with the tubes, and the tower kept coming up. I was asking, how's this going to go? And the tower kept coming up. And my mind is like, oh, no, what's going to happen? Are they not going to be able to play? Right. Or is something going to happen, to one of the members? What? Because your mind starts going. Right. Well, it was a tower moment.
It was. I mean, we did the show. Yeah. But you could call it a shit show.
It was. So they played good. They sound really good. Like if you didn't know that there was a shit show going on, you wouldn't know.
There was a lot of elements about it, that were just a drag. Yeah. Like barely getting a sound check. One of our members was soon thereafter excused from the group because his drug use was just out of control, and he showed up in that shape for that show. Yeah. Late. Yeah. Like hours late. Yeah. Thank God we didn't have a sound check. Yeah. Because he wouldn't have been standing there.
Nope. It was bad. Mm-hmm. It was ultimately what ended the band. It did. Because you guys tried with, to continue, but it really wasn't the same after that. So that was the tower moment. But
you could see the overall preparation, and not just that particular person that had the issue with drugs, but other people too.
So while it was not a great moment, it ended up kind of leading to something that honestly had run its course. It was the end. You needed to let it go, and that's what happened. Yeah. And sometimes it's really hard to see that when you're in the middle of it, because you don't want to. You don't want something to end, or you don't want to believe what these cards are saying.
Absolutely. Or especially, for us, we put 10 years into it. Yeah. Yeah. Roughly. At that point, maybe about 9, but so.
Yeah. What started it this week or last week for me, and I talked about it on the radio show, so I'm not going to get deep into it, but I had a woman that trashed me all over social media, even on Danny's pages, because I didn't do a free reading for her in my free reading group. That's the gist of what happened. Yeah. And it was because of her grief, and I knew that. And so I went on the radio show, and I talked about this. So it's more there. It's in the grief episode. That's what made me do the grief episode. But that was what started it. And it was literally just one thing after the other. And I finally realized this is the end of a cycle. Because another card that keeps coming up for me is the Wheel of Fortune. And basically what that means is that wherever you are right now, the cycle's about to change. So I knew the cycle was going to change. But before a cycle can change, before you can move on or level up or whatever you want to call it, you have to recognize where you are, what you've done with your shadow work so far, where your spiritual journey, how far you've come. Look at the things that you did not do right, that you did not work on in this stage that you were supposed to work on them. Right. Also look at the things that you did do right, so that you know what you did right and you can move on from that. But the things that you did wrong, taking accountability for those and saying, I'm going to work harder to, do better for those, or whatever it is. The universe shows you this all at once. It's like, boom, just hits all at once.
Yeah. 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 Well, and then amidst that, on top of this very nice young lady that was leaving us all these wonderful fan mail, I had been feeling compelled and had been sort of talking to the universe about this and kind of trying to make this kind of under the table deal for myself, but really for my family. but really for myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to put it. Anyways, I chose to give up nicotine. And for those of you that know me, well, I smoked cigarettes almost my whole life from about 12 or 13 until 2016, where I stopped smoking traditional cigarettes and I went to electric cigarettes, vaping. And I've done that for the last 6 years. And so I've been feeling really pushed. It's time to give it up. You told yourself the vaping was just a transition to eventually get there. How much longer are you going to do this for? So I just, out of a whim, I just said, where I normally get my vape cartridges and all that junk is like another town over, and I didn't have any. And I'm like, if I go buy it, I'm sitting on another supply for another month.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah.
I'm just procrastinating.
Yeah, sure.
know? So I decided to give that up. And today, I believe, is 13 days.
Yeah.
Without
Right, yeah.
any nicotine.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I have not been a peach, especially the first probably 3 or 4 days. I could have strangled some people.
Yeah.
But I'm doing much better.
He is, yes.
And I feel a lot better. I could feel the physical results immediately.
Yeah.
Within a couple days, I could feel it. So it's just a lot of mental game now. Mm-hmm. I think pretty much most of the nicotine is out of my system, so I'm not having these massive waves
Right.
of I'm going to put my fist through something.
Right.
And so now I'm just like, what do? You got to
Yeah.
occupy yourself. But
Yeah.
so that's been my tower moment of really facing this and finally deciding no more.
You've been facing a lot more than that, though, because
Yes.
you've been doing a lot of your own shadow work. So
Yes, I have,
And
yeah.
in that time, Marina graduated from high school.
Yes.
There was so much that has gone on in the last couple of weeks, and it
Yes.
was one thing after the other. So you're facing letting her go to college and struggling with
It's
all
a big
that.
one for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
And it's trippy to see her growing up and, going away.
Yep.
But I know that it's what needs to happen. And she has such a wonderful opportunity in front of her. I would never, ever get in the way of that.
Yeah.
But I just love her so much and I worry about her.
Absolutely.
Just as like any parent does. But yeah, so that's a big one to face. And then just kind of family things, you
Yeah.
know, and some
Moving.
personal things. I'm just at a point where I have to shed the negative that surrounds me.
Yes. And that's your tower moment.
Yeah, it's like it's time to let some things, more people
Yeah.
go.
And it's hard. But the universe does do that. And that's something that will happen in your tower moment as well, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, is that the universe will knock people out of your life because they're not supposed to be there, because they are lower vibration and they bring you down.
Yeah.
And why do you want to surround yourself with that? You're awakening. You're opening up to the universe, and your vibration's getting higher and higher the more that you do that.
Yeah.
So these people, they can't be in your life because they suck that energy
They
out
really
of
do.
you. Yeah.
They really do.
So in your tower moment, to everybody that's listening, that's something that you might experience as well.
Yeah.
For me, because I'm a psychic and because I'm connected to the other side, it's literally like having a therapist in my head 24 hours a day. Yeah. It's anytime that I do something wrong, there they are.
Yeah.
Not to put me down. It's absolutely not. It's to talk me through it. It's, where could you have done better? What could you do differently next time? How do you feel about this? But it's hard. It's hard to face yourself. It really is. But I know for the next step in our lives, that had to happen. Mm-hmm. And we have to go through this. And once it's done, it will be a new beginning that will go,
That's part of what my mentality was in this was, like with our plan to move, out of state.
Yeah.
Was like trying to get, dust some of this crap off of me here now.
Yeah.
So I don't carry it in to the new place.
Right.
Like the new life kind of. My life is not really, I'll still be me. But it was like there was just changes that needed to occur, I think, for me to get to the next level.
Right.
And this was one I've always told myself. I'll share this story really fast if I can.
Yeah.
And I've always told Samantha I'm curious of who this person was.
Oh, yeah,
but
please tell.
I was a young kid, and my mom, I think, so you guys get understanding, is like in the 70s, parents didn't really know a lot about a lot of things. And so we learned through time and technology and testing and, all kinds of things. Well, my mom smoked with when she was pregnant with me and my sister. And that's not totally abnormal for that time.
Yeah.
That was just a normal thing. I've actually heard doctors even more currently say, if it's going to throw your body into like a state of shock, then smoke. Just try to keep it down.
Yeah, sure.
That I know that sounds ridiculous, but I actually had my ex-wife's doctor said that to her.
Yeah.
Because she was a smoker
Yeah.
and having a hard time quitting. And she smoked through her pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'm a fetus inside a womb that's getting nicotine all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Then I'm born, but I don't smoke cigarettes at that point yet.
Yeah.
I tell my family and friends this story too, is that my mom smoked heavily. So my sister and I in the mornings, you'd see like the sunlight come beaming through the curtain, just the crack in the curtains. And you could see what looked like just like a layer of clouds of smoke in the living room. Because my mom hadn't opened the windows or the blinds yet. And we would pretend like we were airplanes and flying around in the smoke. Right?
Yeah, that wouldn't happen nowadays.
So
it
then
would, but
I
nobody
hit
would know.
12 or 13 and I'm now a smoker. So from the time I was conceived, I had never not had nicotine in my body.
Yeah.
Ever. Until I did give it up many years ago, probably mid-90s, for about 6 months. I think on a couple occasions I was successful enough to do it for about 6 months. And I did it with Wellbutrin, tried that route. This time was like, nah, this is just cold turkey.
Yeah.
And I could feel that it was cold turkey.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, it was like I've just had it in me my whole life. Well, when I was a very young kid, I had stole some from my mom. I had stole some cigarettes from my mom. And I had to go down this alley that was sort of adjacent to the alley that my apartments were in. But just so nobody that knew me or my mom would see me smoking the cigarette. And I mean, I looked like a sharpshooter or a CIA. I scanned everywhere, 360 around me before I lit this cigarette. And there was nobody. It was silent. There was nobody around me. And I knew the area, so I knew kind of where people would be coming from or whatever. Put my head down, lit the cigarette, and sure enough, I hear this voice. Having a smoke, huh? Or something to that effect. And I looked up, and it was this older man. He was bald. Kind of like the chrome dome kind of bald. Like, I guess he looked grandpa-ish to me, And he's like, yeah, I did that for a long time myself. For about 45 years. And I was sort of like, yeah, okay, whatever, old man. I'm trying to light a smoke here and not get caught.
Yeah.
What's
Get
your
the hell
point?
outta
Can
here.
you get on with your story and get the hell out of here? And I often wonder a couple things. Was that my spirit guide? Or just an angel in general? Or was it me
Yeah.
in a different
Yeah.
time zone, if so to speak?
Yeah.
Or dimension
Right.
in the future, because if time is all simultaneous, I visited myself.
I think that's what happened.
I
As weird as
visited
that may
myself
sound.
and
Yeah.
told myself
Yeah.
that you should not do this.
Yeah. You tried to stop yourself.
And I literally, when I did the math, I smoked for about 45 years.
Yeah.
And I'm
Crazy.
bald.
Yeah. It's very possible. This universe, never
So-
say never.
But I'll never forget that.
Yeah. So, what does this tower moment feel like? Because not everything is a tower moment. Like we were talking about, I said when we had that flood in
Yeah.
December, and then Marina got in the car accident, and there was a gas leak, and then we got COVID. That was not a tower moment. That was life.
Yes.
The tower moment is meant to reconstruct what needs to be reconstructed in you at that moment. And it will make you feel a lot of crazy ways, like anxiety. My anxiety has been so high. Yesterday, I couldn't relax. And I was so tense that I told you, I'm like, I'm going to take a bath. So I went in the bath and I turned Pink Floyd on and I closed my eyes and I meditated. And for the first time, I felt like a sense of somewhat relief. Like today, I finally feel like somewhat better coming out of this. But the anxiety, the depression, the crying, the insomnia, the mood swings,
Right.
those are all parts of this tower moment because you don't know what's going on. One moment you feel fine about yourself and the next minute you're like, I need to work on this or whatever is going on in your own personal situation. There's a lot of emotions attached to it.
Yeah.
But even though the tower moment is a time of chaos, really, and confusion, it is a time of creativity and inspiration, or it's supposed to be a time of creativity and inspiration. You may start to question your beliefs and values and look for deeper understanding at who you are, or looking at the world around you for a deeper understanding of it. Tower moments teach us strength, but they also teach us the power of our own willpower. And that's why, I kept asking the universe, why is all this happening at the same time, including you quitting smoking? And I was like, man, if you just would have maybe waited a little while. But no, that was your tower moment.
Yeah.
That was what was supposed to happen.
Even in line with what they were saying right there, it was that also, but it was also the starting to look deeper at the situations and surroundings in my life.
Yes.
Not you per se, but some outside external situations.
Yes.
And I was having, I'm going to be honest, like creativity block where I just couldn't focus.
Me too.
And yesterday was the first time I sat down and drew for a while.
Probably felt good too. Yeah. Yeah, I even, in my reading group, I put a thing up and I said, I can't. I just need some time, And it's funny because I have this friend, Alicia, and she's learning to become a psychic medium. Her husband just died and he's really helping her. And so we talk sometimes and we help each other. And one of the things she said to me is, you need to take a break from your reading group. And I was like, no way. I didn't believe her at first. I was like, no, I'm not listening to you.
You kiss your mother with that mouth.
What are you talking about, Willis? Yeah, Linda won't like that. But I realized a couple of days after she said it that she was right. Yeah. That my mind wasn't there. I can't help people the way I want to when my mind isn't there. And so I put a thing. I said, you know what? I'm taking some time off, and I'll be back next Monday. Just, I'll be back. If you need me, it's an emergency, message me. And it has felt good. It's felt good to just in the morning be able to do what I need to do for myself to get through this instead of having to worry about everything else, Yeah. We have to do that for ourselves when we face these tower moments is allow ourselves to have that time. And then when we're coming out of it, also to have the self-care to make ourselves feel better coming out of it. Because it feels like you've gone 10 rounds with Tyson.
Mm-hmm. It sure does.
Yep. But these moments don't mean that you got it wrong. So when they happen, don't think that it's like the universe telling you did this wrong and this wrong and this wrong, because that's not it at all. It's just that in each area of our spiritual awakening, we're going to face different things. And at the end of one lesson, because there might be a whole bunch of lessons wrapped into one, that's when the tower moment happens before, like I said, the wheel turns and you go on to something better. So each time that we're going to level up, this is going to happen. And it's going to show us what we did right, what we did wrong, and all of that. So don't get stuck in I did this horribly, but also accept the things that you didn't do right 100%.
Yeah.
But don't beat yourself up and don't try and, make excuses or anything. Just accountability and going along with it and understanding that this is going to open you up more to what is going on.
Right.
Your life is not falling apart. It's actually coming together. And so you just have to allow it. Mm-hmm. But it's going to it takes time.
Yeah.
But inevitably, you will feel like you're compelled to begin soul searching in this process and questioning the root of who you are, your thoughts, your desires. And then you'll embark on this profound life evaluating process, which is the tower moment.
Yeah.
So, like I said, just go with it. Just allow it to happen. And I think that that's one of the things that I did along the way is once I realized it was a tower moment, I just stopped fighting it.
Yeah.
I just realized this is what it's going to be like for a little while. And that's okay. This is just the season right now. Just go with it and learn from it. So let's see what our listeners had to say about this. First of all, 100% of our listeners do feel like they have been through these tower moments before. And I absolutely agree. I don't think there's any of us
I don't think anybody, that just proves to you, nobody gets away from it ever.
No. even if
Yeah.
you don't know that that's what's going on.
Right.
You know?
You have to experience this in your life.
Yep. And then a couple of comments from listeners. Shauna said, whenever the tower comes up for me, I've noticed it's... Oh, wait. Whenever the tower times are upon me, Whenever the tower times are upon me, I've noticed it's because it needs to happen so I can pinpoint what I need to work on, spiritually and in normal life. Do I like the tower times? No. Are the tower times needed? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nancy said, I have to tell you guys, Samantha told me that I was going to be breaking up with my now ex-boyfriend, and I didn't see how. I was planning on breaking it off after we got home at the end of the season, but not even 2 weeks later, after 7 years of on and off course, he broke it off. I was shocked, full-blown tower moment. I was settling into a new routine. I'm settling into a new routine and all is well. Now I'm just living my life and waiting for my king to show up. I'm sure it will come right along. Iowa is a long way from Michigan, so it could be a while. I think she's waiting for somebody in particular. So, yeah. All right. And then Chelsea said, I don't like tower moments, but I'm convinced something awaits after each time. This is after each tower moment. That is after each tower moment. Absolutely.
Yes, there is a leveling. Something changes.
Yep.
Well, obviously, because you've worked on something.
Yep.
So you learn something about yourself. You're a little bit lighter, it feels like, in weight.
Yeah.
Because you've shed something.
Absolutely.
About yourself. And there is, I don't know if it's a reward, but there's some sort of satisfaction at the end of it.
Absolutely there is.
That kind of is a reward, I guess.
Yeah. What was weird about this tower moment was that one of the rewards came during the tower moment. Like, it's not over. I know it's coming to an end, but I got that TV show while it was still going on.
Yeah.
But I had to make decisions
Right.
about the TV show. Like, they approached me just to be a guest on another show, and I was, thinking about that and everything, and had to make some decisions. And it was like, if you make the right decision here, then we'll give you the next thing. Right. And sometimes making these decisions are hard, and you don't know which way to go.
I think a tower, why it looks so scary and ominous, is it's like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So it's a test of your faith.
Yeah.
Kind of like, here comes this tornado or hurricane straight for you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you going to just completely panic, or are you just going to hold on tight and have faith?
Yeah.
Because if it came up as like a parade, a light parade and candy toy soldiers, it's not going to get your attention to what needs to be done.
No.
But because there is this reward or this sort of change for the better, it has to be disguised to sort of challenge you and test your faith.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say about it too is that, and I totally forgot it, but anyways, I'll think of it.
Yeah, if you remember, we'll come back to it. Sarah had said, I got the tower in a recent reading, and lo and behold, 2 months later, my father passed away very traumatically. I want to address this because most likely that was not related.
I don't think so.
Generally, the tarot cards are not meant to predict those types of things. A psychic you might have, felt that or whatever, but the tarot cards, even the tower, is not meant to make you feel that way. It's not meant to make you feel like I said, like the world's coming to an end.
Right.
It's the deconstruction, but reconstruction. Mm-hmm. So if you see the tower come up, if you're doing a reading on yourself or, whatever, I've learned to try and,
yes,
don't panic.
Yes.
First of all, I have a friend, Amy. I've talked about her on the show. What's the name of her tarot company? I can't remember. Beloved One Tarot. And
Jammer?
Okay. Amy Jammer. Mm-hmm. And when Danny was going through that time where the tower was coming up for the band, I messaged her and I was like, why would this card continuously come up? Like, it's scaring me, And she said, well, first of all, stop drawing cards. Yeah. Because the more you draw, the more you're confusing yourself. Mm-hmm. Are you expecting something different to come out?
Yeah.
Still haven't learned that one, by the way. But she said, that the tower is not meant to scare you. It's meant to show you that something is coming that's going to change things. It might shake things up, but it's going to change things. So even if it's not a tower moment, if the tower card just comes up, to show you that something is going to change or shake things up, don't be scared.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's good things.
You jarred my memory, because what I was going to say is that's exactly what it is. It's a blessing in disguise, but it's designed to test your faith.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But because it's a blessing in disguise, you have to surrender. That is the biggest. If you fight it, you draw this time out, this time of tower moment out. You'll draw it out longer, drag it out.
Yes.
If you don't fight it and you surrender to what it's trying to tell you and show you, which means go through the motions, do those things it's saying that you're going to be having the tendency to do, is dig deeper for deeper answers, analyze some things around you, maybe your habits, your thoughts, whatever. Just surrender.
Yes.
And do it.
Yes.
I think part of it for me, and in this process too, was the move. Like realizing, I've never left California my whole life to live, just, for visiting and vacationing. But to the idea of leaving this place and going somewhere not completely foreign. I've been there many times, but to live is a whole different story.
Yes.
And surrendering to what it has in store for me, as opposed to being terrified of or negative about all the things about it. I think the heat's the only negative part for me.
Yeah.
I have something called diabetes insipidus, where my body does not retain water. So it's like I drink and I pee. It just goes right through me. So the heat is always a little bit worrisome. Yeah. But
we'll take good care of
I'm
you. You'll
50. I'm not going to be running out, cross country races out in Nevada.
No.
I'll be sitting in the AC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strumming my guitar.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's what it does. It tests your faith, and you're right, because there was one point that I said to you, that's what's stopping things from moving forward for me as well, is that I can sit here and say, I trust the universe is going to provide for me what I need, which I do really trust. But there's a situation that's been coming up with, because I also talk to other psychics, shocking, I know, but they've been telling me that something else is coming besides this TV show. And I've been like, no, it's not. Nah, it's not. That's a lie. It's not possible. I have to believe.
Yeah.
That is one thing I had to do with this, is I had to stop saying, okay, well, I trust those tarot readers and I trust myself and I trust other things, but I'm not going to believe that this is happening. Right. And I had to tell myself, it's going to happen. It's coming. Right. Just trust it. The universe is showing you every single sign to tell you it's on the way. Relax, however it's going to work out. It had to happen because otherwise things won't move. The universe knows when you don't trust it. Right. It knows when you're just,
it sees right through your crap.
Yeah, that's a really
right through
perfect
your crap.
way of putting it. Absolutely. Yeah. And it will test your faith. Yeah. And one thing that I realized about both of us this time, compared to other tower moments that we've had since the spiritual awakening, is that neither one of us lost our faith in the universe. Neither one of us went, it doesn't exist, I don't believe in it. You even at one point said, I know that this is happening all for a reason and blah, blah, blah. I just can't right now, which is fine. The universe understands. You don't have to always be that spiritual person. Like, my vibration has been really low, but my work has still been coming because the universe has been saying she needs to deal with this. So we're still going to give her work, It will do for you what it needs to do for you, but you have to allow it to.
Yep.
And it is not easy at all. This last couple of weeks has definitely been a challenge. But it's good, I think, for both of us, not just because this is what life is and this is what we have to go through, but also because we're able to show our listeners this is what it's like to go through a tower moment. And when it happens to you, when you feel like everything is caving in on you, just know it's not, that you're just getting ready for a rebirth of sorts. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not talking about, your car breaks down and, you're sick or whatever. Right. I'm talking about when the universe is like, it's really time to move you to the next level of this awakening. And so we have to show you some things and we have to quickly change some things about you first, before you can move on. And it's tough.
It is. But, like you, I have also gone to other psychics.
Yes.
And some people listening be like, well, why? You know, your wife is good. She is good. But you know what? We're human.
Yeah, I'm his wife.
And we doubt.
Yes.
So when we doubt, we get a second opinion.
Or a third or fourth,
or a
yes.
third. And usually they're exactly like what she said.
Yes.
So we've spent the extra money unnecessarily.
Well, sometimes I trade readings, so that's okay.
That's true.
But yeah,
they're usually
silly.
almost the same. And so it's just funny that we continue to do that. We don't do it all the time, but
Yeah.
we do frequently. Kind of when, you know,
When this is going on.
when the sort of the premature stages of the tower, I was sort of asking a lot of questions and got like a second opinion from a gentleman who is really good.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, yeah, the things he said are happening.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
for me personally, like I was asking, what about for me and my art and music? Like in this move, what does this mean for me? And he was giving me like pretty good time frames.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's still going to be about a year off from, you know, you got to move there first, obviously. But he said the person to be creative musically with, you'll have that lined up by May.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. He said by the end of May.
Yeah.
I believe. And okay, it wasn't May. It was more like the beginning of June.
Yeah.
But I got a message from somebody. Well, actually, from your sister.
Your brother-in-law.
Yes.
He's your brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
My brother-in-law. Thank you for taking the shortcut for me. But he was really inquisitive and like, I was like, this could possibly be cool.
But you
know?
guys did meet in April.
We did meet in April,
Yeah.
yes. But so we kind of, that's true. That
Yes.
could have been what he was referring to there too. But so I was like, that could be possible. Like we already have, you know, a plan to get together and,
Yeah.
you know, try to just drum and see what we can do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. And I'll be honest, I felt the push to try and get you to message Jared yourself, but I didn't tell you that because I was kind of hoping you guys would just figure it out yourself, which you did.
Right.
But if I would have told you, it would have been May. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's that. But yeah,
It's just a nice positive thing. Go, wow, that's cool. That's what he said.
yeah. You know, I think that this is a good point for our listeners too, is that when you're going through these tower moments, if you need a little bit of help, there's nothing wrong with going to a tarot reader or a psychic like myself. There's a girl that I came across on TikTok, Alex Reads Tarot is her name. That's her business name. And I was so impressed by what I was seeing of her on TikTok that I ordered one of her readings. All it was 3 intuitive messages. That's it. It was like 3 things. The first one, she talked about about the tower moment. Mm-hmm. She said it's coming through, you know, you'll be all right, blah, blah, blah. The next one, she was talking about the other situation that I was talking about that I don't believe, or I do believe now, but I didn't believe was actually going to happen, you know. And then the third one was the TV show. The TV show was the hardest for me to really believe, I think, because this one was another one that kept coming up, and it was somebody's watching you. And I was like, man, somebody's watching me. What?
Yeah.
But that was one of the first things that the producer said to me. He's like, we've looked through all of your stuff. We've listened to episodes of your podcast. They knew so much about me. They had been watching me.
Yeah, it's cool.
Such a trip. So even something like that confirmed for me that this is happening, you know? So those things are meant to help us. The universe wants us to take advantage of those things, but they want us to listen to it too. And that's where it gets hard, is that, you know, I've had 4 opinions, I think, of this situation, and I'm still nervous. You know, it's like
they're all
you're
kind of
human.
similar, too.
They are absolutely similar, but we're human.
Yeah.
And, you know, the universe doesn't expect for us to not be human. But when we have faith and we put that, you know, forward in these tower moments, I do think we get through them faster. Like you said, surrendering. Yeah, absolutely. Taking leaps of faith. That's what the tower moment's all about too. Taking that leap of faith out that window when the lightning's striking you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that some of you will take some things from this. And, you know, if you're going through a tower moment, or, you know, when the time comes, you'll be able to relate back to this and know that it happens and it's okay and it's supposed to happen. It's just here to level you up.
Yeah. And it's like you're kind of bringing it on to yourself, whether you realize it or not. So there's really no like avoiding it.
No, there's no.
It's just going to come when it's going to come.
Yep.
And you work through it.
once you say, I'm in
Yeah.
on this spiritual journey, I want to wake up. You've now surrendered, and the universe will do what it wants, and it'll teach you, and it'll be good. You just got to allow it.
That's true.
Yep. Hey.
It will wake you up.
Oh, yes,
on
it will.
so many levels.
Yeah. Looking back to life 5 years ago before the spiritual awakening, everything was so different. So different. I was different. You were different. I don't even recognize us before the spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
I say that when I see pictures of who were these people?
Different.
Yeah, but good.
Yeah.
It's a good changes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So. Yay.
Very cool.
Yay.
Very good job.
Yep.
Well,
Thank you.
before we say goodbye to everybody, want to share your information one more time?
Yes, you can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. You can find the radio show there, this podcast, where you can find our different social media pages and everything. Right
Yeah.
there. Yay. And you.
For my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Great.
That's it for me.
Fabulous.
Well, we hope that you guys got something out of this.
That we do.
And if anything we want you to get out of it is don't panic.
Yep.
All right? Just
Yep.
don't panic.
Just trust. Have faith.
Just trust, don't panic.
Yep, exactly.
If you're going through it, meaning the tower moment, work through it,
Yep.
surrender to it, but don't panic.
It won't last forever.
If you panic, you're just prolonging the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
and we do hope you got something out of it.
That we do.
Other than that, and we hope you guys have a great week.